Guys, I was wrong about Wicked. Welcome to Movie World Plus, the place where we talk movies. I'm Andy Signore, and look, I wasn't wrong because when I saw this footage at CinemaCon, I did say then, and I stand by, that it looked pretty incredible. The sets, the showpieces, the look of it was stunning. I was incredibly impressed by the amount of practical stuff they built. But more recently, the Wicked Witch over there said some things on social media that and the press was just, there was so much marketing, repetitive stuff. I just was like, oh man, they're nervous. This isn't very good. I was wrong. This movie is really well done. Very well done. I have to say, all my worries about it being a part one of part two, pretty unfounded. It's a long movie. This is over 2.5 hours, so be prepared. I took my 5-year-old. He got a little bored at times, as did my wife. It definitely could have still been trimmed a bit, I think. There's a version of, we'll see how part two ends up faring. But as a movie, it worked. It worked to me. The finale is the best part. It's the same finale if you've seen the Broadway show that Act 1 ends on. And it's a doozy of a finale. I kind of hit it. But that moment you're waiting for, they do it and they deliver it. And I got to say, I had fun. I enjoyed it. And the star of the movie is Ariana Grande. She absolutely steals the movie. She's fantastic as Glinda. Look, she's stealing a lot from Kristen Chenoweth in the original Broadway show, if you've seen it, which I was a fan of. It's a really good show. Great music, amazing, surprising, fun set pieces, etc. This whole movie, if you're unfamiliar, sort of takes a whole look at the story of Wizard of Oz and looks at it from a perspective of what was the Wicked Witch actually, going on. And typically, I don't like those kind of stories. It feels like Hollywood's always going back to try to figure out how to turn the villain into an anti-hero. But Wicked's been around for a while, based on a book, which turned into a very hit Broadway show. And it's pretty well done, and it's very clever in how it sort of connects the tissue, giving you stuff pre-Wizard of Oz, post-Wizard of Oz, and tries to give you a fuller package of sort of what was happening. Now, I know where this is going to go. I've seen the musical. I know a lot of people have, so I'm not going to spoil this movie or where it goes. But I will venture to say, I think part one is going to be better. Now, part two has its moments and it's going to go there. But part one as a standalone, I will say, I was worried when they took away the part one that they were going to be misleading you. The truth is, the story does not end at the end of this movie. But I got to be honest, I felt fulfilled enough and the movie delivers that I was like, okay, I'm not mad at you for splitting this up. I see what you're doing. You made some good choices. I still think they could have wielded some of those choices in and kept it a little tighter. But for fans of the Broadway show, this is what you've always dreamed of. And both performances are strong. Look, I wasn't a fan of her with what she was saying online. Oh, they blocked my face, my eyes. Like, my God, so contentious. Like, get over yourself, girl. And thank God she did sort of apologize without apologizing, which she did. But she's good in this movie. I got to say, she does a great performance. Her voice is fantastic. But it's obviously the two of these people together. That's what makes this whole show work, is their performance. And it's definitely the star of the show is Ariana Grande for me. While, look, she is it Cynthia or Erivo? She's good. She's good. And she's got a fantastic voice. Not trying to discredit her. I don't want to come at me. She seems very insecure about it all. You were great. Okay, I liked you. I just liked Ariana better because she's got the funner role. There's definitely more meatiness to it. And I never really, I felt for her. I do. The whole premise of this show is that, she's born green and she's an outcast. No one treats her the same, her parents included. She's always sort of shuttered out there. But she has this sort of undeniable magic ability that she's never really been able to figure out. They go to a school, very wizardy of, Harry Potter, Wizarding World, Harry Potter, Hogwartsy sort of feel, but more like, the musical theater version of it. And they go to this school where they're going to sort of learn the ways of, how to learn their crafts and so on. I don't know. I'm trying not to spoil it. But the bottom line is, she gets thrust into this school. Galinda's the sort of preppy, popular one. And, at first they dislike each other, but their bond becomes what this movie is ultimately about. And a lot of familiar sort of angles and places that you would know with Wizard of Oz do take place. And it doesn't feel like typical Hollywood trying to mine something that, for nothing. I do think Wicked was a good version of it in Broadway. It was a clever way to sort of try to connect it, add some more mythology to it, etc. And a lot of fans are into this. They're not mad at it. And honestly, Wizard of Oz is really old. No disrespect. It is sort of the story that I feel like, this was a clever way to update it, make it its own. And everybody involved does really great. I got to say, John Chu, the director, really steps up. I mean, these practical sets are unbelievable looking. Absolutely feel like something that could be eventually at Universal Studios if this movie is a hit. The Michelle Yeoh, she's sort of the teacher of the school, the Dumbledore, if you will. But seeing these sets and what they were building, it's incredible. Plus, you got these animal actors in the stage show. You know, they're sort of stand up with the prosthetics on. But to see Peter Dinklage voicing our goat teacher here, there's another side plot about that's, you know, adds to, I think, you know, the politics of not just today, but other histories of, you know, who's really in control of things. It's a really good sort of plot line that I do like as from a musical standpoint. And I think the movie carries it into as well of who can you trust? Who in charge really has it for you or for themselves, using fear. It never gets political in any way, but it's a, you know, broad political term that I would argue has been going on for eras. This is not pointed at today's administration, but definitely relevant in a way, whether you're left or right. Both sides agree. Who's asked, you know, this question of who's in charge, what's really happening, who's paying for it all. And that's sort of what the, you know, Wizard of Oz is about. As we know from the Wizard of Oz, spoiler alert, he's not exactly as he seems. And this movie only reinforces that a little bit more extreme, a little further along the line, and gives you a little bit more backstory as to what's going on. Overall, though, again, I can't stress enough. I really had fun. I had chills by the end. There were moments where, yeah, I'm not giving her enough credit, but was it Cynthia? Or sorry, I'm completely spacing on how to say the name because I haven't been familiar with her, and she's really been off-putting on her social media. Her PR reps need to Cynthia. Yeah, Cynthia Erivo. She does a good job. She does a good job in this. Both of them do a good job together. They work, and there is a drama. There is a character arc for her where you're rooting for her, you feel for her. It does work. And Ariana Grande's character, you know, a little bit more lighty and annoying at times. That's sort of the point. And it works. You feel for her as well. And to see these two sort of come together against all odds is what the movie's about. So there's definitely a lot of, you know, strong female leads. The music is really well done. My favorites are Popular, Defying Gravity are the two, you know, big songs that are in this, along with a lot of the other ones from the show. And kudos to Jon Cho for figuring out how to work this. I was worried. Based on the talent. I was worried on part one. I was worried on, this is going to be one of those cheesy musicals. But no, overall, I was pretty impressed. Reminiscent of last year's Wonka, which I didn't hate. Wonka was annoying for that because they felt like they were disparaging classic, and many might feel this way about this, but you got to understand this is also based on a very popular source material, which is the book and the Broadway show. And that regard, I sort of think they get away with it in ways that some might say, how dare you bring up the Wizard of Oz again? I think it works. And I think this adaptation is really well done. It is what the fans of Wicked are going to want. And if you've never seen Wicked, I do think if you like the fantasy genre, Wonka to Harry Potter, to that sort of zone of fantasy, this is definitely a movie for you. I do think this has the opportunity to do a Barbie-esque sort of ginormous sort of explosion at the box office if done well. And it could have that Glicked effect. People are trying to make Gladiator 2 and Wicked sort of be the Oppenheimer Barbie of this year. And honestly, after seeing Wicked and hearing about Gladiator 2, both of these films could be really good in their own ways, completely different demographics, but good times at the cinema. And I'm going to see Gladiator 2 tonight, so we'll have our review of that soon. But right now, as for the Glicked of it all, I gotta give Wicked a thumbs up. I really enjoyed it. I had fun. It's emotional. It's rousing is the word I would use. You're rooting for the story. And my God, that music, when it hits at the end and they defying of gravity, he pulled it off. It's good. It does leave you on a cliffhanger. I do think it's important you know that, but it's a lot of movie you're going to get. And I think people are going to be involved, be invested. And I do think they're going to come back for part two. This movie, I think, seeing it for myself now, I think could have some legs to the holiday season. PG, family film for all. This movie could end up being a big hit for Universal, and I would not be mad at it. So we'll see. Surprisingly enjoyed it. I hope you guys do have a good time at the movies. This is the type of movie that really works in the movies. It's a big theater experience. Even I clapped at a few of the show numbers as they're over. It's a Broadway show done cinematically. So kudos to John Cho. I got to give him props as a director. This was a hard undertaking. He made his own vision. He made it work. He respected the source material. That's the best you could ask for a project like this. So well done to everybody involved. Check it out if you get a chance this weekend. Wicked, Gladiator 2. Which are you more excited for? I'll give you the Gladiator 2 review soon. Thank you guys. Make sure you know I have a movie channel here. We do reviews if you made it this far and you haven't yet subscribed. What are you waiting for? Click on it. Watch the reviews when you get them. Help this channel get some better numbers. Appreciate you guys so much. Stay tuned. We got a lot more coming for you.